Hey, this is Dee Dee from the great city of Walla Walla, Washington. That is really quite soggy and wet right now. I hope it's a little warmer and drier where you are. But I'm in the shop here where it's always nice and toasty. Now, I'm going to try an editing program that a fellow viewer pointed out that's a Microsoft free thing. And I tried a little something on it last night and it worked okay, so we'll try it right now. Now, what I'm going to talk about is controlling your hole, and that's measuring your holes that you create with machinery. And when you get into tight tolerances, the dial bore gauge, it really works out real good. But it's mostly better for machines that produce a really good finish, like the Monarch 10EE grinders in the Sun and Honing machine. Now, you can measure stuff on the old geared head Axelson, but it looks a little bumpy on the indicator. So generally, you know, on like an old geared head lathe like this, precision in tenths of a thousandths is a secondary operation. Okay, let's go on down to my really quite chilly basement this morning and dealing with a little bit of temperature differential, but that might be interesting too. Okay, we'll go down there. Well, okay, we've got ring gauges here, and they're highly accurately made, have lapped inside finishes, and they're in different grades, and some of them are triple X, double X, that's a double X, but that's, you know, getting into the millionths of an inch. But these things are pretty handy to have. And one of the things that you can do with these is take your regular telescoping gauge and check out the reading. Let me see if I can get out of your way. And you know how to set these. You kind of tighten it. And, you know, you can figure out your own, just how you want it to be. I usually roll it through twice. That is 1.8555, I think. So we'll see where we're at here. Oh, I might have already bumped it a little too much. No, I did. I'm going to try it again. It's good to work with one of these to kind of know how close you're getting using this kind of a measuring method. I didn't have that tight enough. Let's see if I can get that. Let's see how that does. Okay. Hope you can see that. I'm not looking at the numbers because sometimes you can fool yourself. I'm just looking at the gauge and how it is between the anvils. And then I look at the number. It looks like I'm reading about 2/10,000ths under. That should be right at about 1/10.5 under. It should read that on that half thousandths. But it's a little cooler down here. I don't have the, I don't know, that's feeling pretty good. But what that's telling me is that my reading is off. I'm reading under what that actually is. Yeah, I'm reading about 1/10 under using this and this. Okay. So we can take a dial bore gauge and get a quick reading here. Now I have that set over on that 1/2,000, so it's reading 1/2 over at 0. Now, you see, the nice thing about this is you can clock it. You can just take multiple readings. So you roll the gauge, you keep it about as upright as possible, and you roll the gauge forward, and as far as it goes over to the right is the reading. Yeah, that's pretty close there. So we'll get it over here. So you see how fast that is? Now we're going to talk about setting these too. Now this way, you have to keep continually measure here, loosen it in the bore, measure it here. Let's see how it does that way. See if I can get closer to what it actually is. I haven't calibrated this micrometer, it's old, and so is this gauge. I think I even have one that's in better condition. Now see, I'm still reading 1/2 thousandths under of what it actually is. Let me try that just very gently. Oh, that's worse than it's been. Let me try just rolling it through one time. I hope I'm not blocking everything with my arm. But you can see I'm having difficulty here. And I'm not getting it consistent. And I'm kind of disappointed myself because I'm usually more consistent than this one. Let's see where we are. Now I'm just looking at the anvils on the micrometer. I'm going to look over. Yeah, see, I'm still under. That's about, let's see on the vernier here, two-tenths. I'm reading 3/10 under using this method here. Okay, now here's some smaller ones here, and I have smaller gauges for that. Let me grab that. Now this is, yeah. Now this is a different style of gauge here. It's a ball type. You see that? You can set these with these other gauges, and we can do that a little bit later here. And there's some other methods to set this. Okay, I think I showed some of the basics of this, and it's really handy to have these in various sizes. Let me grab this real quick. Okay. See, you can set your calipers with these. And it's real handy for the dial calipers and even these verniers to check at different spots to see if things are, you know, like they should be. And they usually are with these things. But the dial calipers might be a different story. So if you're working within this range with a pair of dial calipers, it'd be good to check this ring here. If you're, you know, working a little further up the scale, go ahead and check it with this ring. or if you know, using the inside probes or blades for small sizes, it's really a good idea to have these smaller ring gauges. Okay, now I'm going to set up something else here, how to set this gauge. Okay, we've got a little different setup here. This here is a setting master for bore gauges, and it's got this movable piece here, and that's for to center these pins here. These are the locating pins, and here's the actuating pin here. You push that in, you see the dial move. Okay, little bell crank in there, and it pushes a rod and moves that dial indicator. And some of these dial bore gauges, like this Federal one here, actually uses a regular AGD dial indicator in their 10th reading, but it has a reverse dial. Now this particular dial bore gauge has a lot more range than the standard Poughkeepsie ones I'm demonstrating. I'll talk about that later. Okay, so what I'm going to do, we got a master setting ring here, and the size of it is 1.855. And I got this, this is considered the best way to set a dial bore gauge is with a master setting ring. Okay, so I got that extra 0.5 thousandths over here. Okay, all right. So if you don't have this, you have to go to other means, and this is considered one of the best. This is a master setting fixture. It does not have a micrometer thimble adjustment, okay? And those are plenty good, and they're a lot faster, but this is considered better. And it's a heck of a lot slower because you set it with gauge blocks. So this little device right here will adjust that. I'll leave it up all the way, and we'll adjust that in a little bit. So these are these little catch things for the anvil. There's two sizes, and they catch this here, so it doesn't slide off the anvil. Okay, that's all that is. So we have to take that off. And I got these gauge blocks here, 1.855. And remember, we're checking with micrometer, and we're getting about 0.5 thousandths error, a few tenths. And I was just checking the gauge blocks. I don't know if you can see. Let me get this over here. Gauge blocks of this micrometer, I'm expanding the gauge blocks as I'm hanging on to them. It's a little bit cool down here, so things aren't going to be quite as accurate as maybe they should be. There we go. It's reading right on. So, we're very good. It's just that the telescoping gauge, this is kind of an old one. It's a little bit sloppy, and we're getting about 4/10 error out of it. Something to consider. Okay, so set these gauge blocks down, and here's a whole set of gauge blocks here. These are some older gauge blocks. Let's see if I can get this open without dumping them out. It's a set of dual gauge blocks. They've been certified years and years ago, several times. Actual deviation in millionths of an inch over here on the chart. This is just a great set of gauge blocks. Okay. They're old but good. Okay, so I got the gauge block stacked there. And here's, you're just going to have to stand back and watch. Because we're in a tight area, And I'm going to drop this down to manageable levels, and I'm going to get those gauge blocks in there. You need about 4 hands to do this. Now you can do it all right. So I'm going to bring that down right there. Now on the top, there's a spring-loaded little anvil in there, and I'm going to loosen it at this time right here. And see, it causes it, that spring, you can see its edge sticking up here. So you get them in there and you wiggle them just a little bit. We got that weight on there. And then you bring it down until that just protrudes a little bit. Lock it there. Wiggle. Now tighten that down. And then we ease that stack of gauge blocks out of there. Just like that. Okay, we'll set those down. Right there. Now we put the little catcher on there. And we stick the gauge in there. Okay, at this point we loosen the centering device for those centering pins. Put a little pressure on them so it, there. I think that's pretty good. Yeah, I see them compress. Okay, up I get. Here we go. Let's see where we're at with this. I'm reading just about 2/10, a tenth and a half under. Tenth and a half under. Now, usually, I'm consistently 1/2 of a tenth under using this method from checking with master setting rings like this. And this is the best one to go by right there. So I know when the temperatures and stuff are just right, like I said, it's a little cool down here, I'm consistently 1/2 of a tenth under. So when I'm setting to a size that I don't have a master ring for, I take that into consideration. And I've never gotten in trouble on really close tolerances. Now keep in mind, if you're fitting a precision bearing, often they'll give you a 2/10 range, like for the outer ring. But you really want to be close to line on precision bearings with no press fit at all. You know, they might say 2/10, but you're better at 1/10, 1/2, or line to line. I just thought I'd throw that in for confusion. Okay, so I'm reading consistently under using this. Now, these are more accurate than the ones with the micrometer. So if you have that type, it's really good to check using master setting rings and play around with that a little bit. You see what I'm getting at? If you have a master like this, you can practice with this gauge and you can practice with the dial bore gauges, okay? Now the dial bore gauges I'm using are standard Poughkeepsie, and they're really quite good, but they don't have a whole lot of range, like the Sonnen or Federal. You see, Federal's just got a whole bunch more range. You know, it's got that other counter dial there. But what you got to consider is you can't count on setting the dial bore gauge at the bottom of the range and expect a accurate measurement at the other end of it. So you always, they advise with these to load them when you set it. You can see more than one turn. Okay, but you can get by with a half. But you have to consider that it's going to be the most accurate at where this thing was set, right in there. And if you're going for a measurement that's bigger than that or under or something, you really want to set it as close to what you're measuring as possible. Okay, I hope that is kind of helpful on how to get to closer tolerances and the value of a ring gauge, master setting fixtures or whatever. But you always have to consider there's always a little bit of error to find and be aware of. So if everything's 68 degrees, which it's not, I know that this sets 50 millionths under. Okay? All right. I'll be back.